Namaste, my friend. Close your eyes. Look inside the heart. Become aware of the space there. Asato ma satgamaya. Asato ma satgamaya. You can say in your mind. Asato ma satgamaya. The meaning of this is lead us from the false to the truth. The false has made our mind home. False means false notion, wrong ideas about our own identity, our nature. Lead us from the false to the truth. The truth is the real self of the nature of permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So I will recite the second mantra, and then you can do it loudly with me or in your mind. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So when we settle our mind for inquiry and a journey in our life to move from the false to the truth, we need to remove the ignorance. Literal meaning of this Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya means lead us from the darkness to the light. So darkness represents ignorance. Light represents knowledge of reality. In darkness, we are not able to see anything. But does the darkness exist? It is an absence of light. Ignorance is absence of knowledge. That is what we are doing. Keep in that mind. So always check, is the knowledge sitting in your intellect all the time? For example, all our anxiety, duality, conflict, delusion, wrong notions belongs to the darkness. So when you become aware, the moment the mind goes into anxiety, frustration, duality, and a conflict, start inquiring. This is ignorance. Let me move to the knowledge. Third line. Mrityorma Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Mrityorma Amritangamaya. So we follow a simple understanding, word, meaning, and knowledge. So what is the meaning? The meaning is lead us from the death, mortality to immortality. Is existence immortal? Yes, we are the children of existence. How the death can touch me? It may be the death of the body and the mind, but not my real self. Keep this knowledge all the time. Mind will take you back. What will happen? Why it is happening? Understand that point. Keep your eyes closed. Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You already know the meaning. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. This peace is within you. Experience of peace always takes place in the mind, not outside. In that state, when the body is steady, mind is looking inside the heart, and eyes are closed gently. this These three-pointed awareness helps us to change the direction of the mind. When you change the track in the direction of the mind by moving within and living within, you become comfortable and carefree. Or by being comfortable and carefree, you change the direction of the mind. Please settle this understanding in your intellect. Or being comfortable, looking at the neck joint, being there, feeling sensation, comfort, and steadiness. We are not doing anything. Just a simple awareness. We always, as a human being, we are self aware and our intellect is free to use. Who makes the intellect imprison my mind, my impulses, my wrong notions, my delusion? Eyes are closed, the body is steady, the mind is looking within, and then you look at the neck joint, be there. Feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Shoulder joints, you become aware, you know it, you feel sensation, comfort, and steadiness. The entire body, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And now being carefree means thoughts, feelings, sensations, they do not chase you. But when the mind chases them, then we like, dislike, attachment, and detachment. So, how not to chase them? Just maintain your awareness. That, what is that awareness? That these thoughts, feeling, and the sensations are separate from you. In that state, look at the breath. And as you inhale, Very silent breath, no noise at all. Very deep. Simply, as you inhale, expand your rib cage. You should feel the rib cage is expanding. And as you exhale, deep, silent, and slow, your rib cage contracts. Short breath into the rib cage, deep breath into the rib cage, gentle breath into the rib cage. Can we do it during the day? Yes, we can do it. So, another practice that you can do it at any time. But if it is supported by the mantra and the knowledge hidden in it, Asato ma satanamaya, lead us from pulse to the truth. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. That knowledge lives in the intellect and the mind is expanding and contracting the rib cage. The rhythm is deep, silent, and slow. Who breaks that rhythm? Wrong notion, mind with its past impression. Well, let it break. You return again to the deep silence, slow breathing only into the rib cage. Only into the rib cage. So, what happens when you inhale? You will discover the distance that between the ribs becomes greater and greater during inhalation. And as you exhale deep, silent, and slow, your distance between these ribs is minimized, as if all the ribs are touching one another. Why I am saying so? So that the mind remains attentive of a total expansion of the rib cage, total contraction of the rib cage, with a deep, silent, gentle breathing. Deep, silent, and slow, and gentle. Into the rib cage. Continue, my friend. And the intellect is living with that knowledge, lead us from false to the truth, lead us from ignorance to age, lead us from mortality to immortality. Now leave the breath as it is. Become aware of the breath when it is natural, when you are not changing the rate and the rhythm of the breath, When you are simply aware of the sensation and stillness in the body, you are aware the mind is looking within, you are aware of the breath, knowing the breath is going in and out, knowing the feeling of the sensation at the tip of the nose when the breath goes in and out, and no change in the rate and the rhythm. How long you can continue this step of doing nothing, simply aware of the sensation in the stillness, aware of the breath going in and out, aware of the sensation at the tip of the nose with no change. You are in the state of doing nothing. In that state, the real self reveals. The real self is revealed. Mm. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your closed eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms and bring your hands down. Natural state, happy and relaxed. So, our topic today is natural state of mind full of peace and happiness are here and now. It is here and now. Do you still remember that? I'm putting my phone on mute. So, do you still remember? I do not know, let me know it. First step. Now, what happens when I do not know? I enter into falsehood and ignorance. So, when I enter into false and ignorance, then I get frustrated and upset. What is to be done? I should remember, because I do not know, I have entered into the confusion, and this confusion is causing me frustration and upset and anxiety, so let me know it. The moment your intellect remembers this, you are on a journey. When? Anytime, anywhere, with whom? With anyone and everyone. After all, you are becoming a seeker. Seeker never forgets the journey. Are you ready for it? Come back to the topic. We are natural in peace, happiness, knowledge, and love. So, what it means by being natural? Natural means awareness of being human, who think, who speak, who act with the innermost self. The innermost self is permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Now you see that in that natural state, we express kindness, humility, wisdom, love, affection. When on a given day, when you wake up in the morning, your mind says, it's a very good morning, not a bad morning. Did the sun rise in a special way? The sun rises the same way every day. And it has been rising the same way for so many millions of years. The mind is looking inside naturalness. It is that naturalness mind is expressing today is a good morning. So, what should be our goal? What should be our goal? Take over the mind. In unnatural state, we think, speak, and act with anxiety, reaction, resistance, holding and hiding something within. Go back. I don't know, let me know it. Your intellect should alarm you. Alarm means you become aware, you become attentive, you start working on the mind, anxiety disappears. In that state, we are not with real self. We should remain aware, living and working in the world about. We should remain aware of both natural, unnatural state. The way you are aware of your house and neighbor's house. So, what is natural? Move to your house, not to your neighbor's house. So, in our country, they will call 911. So then there is a problem. That 911 is anxiety, duality, conflict, and confusion. Because I don't know. I'm not able to separate. We'll discuss about that separation is what the discernment is, viveka is. Now understand the second point. No other living species can observe their natural state except human being. No, my animals live in a natural way. That is why you have put them into a cage. Did you understand that? We give them a controlled environment. But we can live in natural state because our intellect can work in freedom, can observe, can make a choice, and hold on to this choice. Today is a good morning. Hold on to this choice of good morning. Don't allow the mind to get carried away by any thought. So then every day is a good morning. Forget about every day. Every moment is good. Can that happen to animals? Animals cannot make a choice. Why? They are controlled by the nature, dictated. Inbuilt mechanism. They have an inbuilt intellect, the way the computer is. And what is that inbuilt intellect does? Only four things: food and sex, sleep and security. You're becoming a seeker, so pay attention. Pay attention. Live in the state after getting the right knowledge. So, did you understand what causes the unnatural state in our lives? Unnatural state: anxiety, duality, conflict, wrong notion. I'm frustrated. Now, what should I do? What you should do? Do you have an intellect? Make the intellect available. When? When it is required. And even when it is not required, live into that state. We have a high level of self awareness, and the intellect is free to observe, to make a choice, to hold on to this choice. After leaving your house, do you return to neighbor's house? Have you returned to neighbor's house on a single day? No. Why? The intellect is holding on that choice. The intellect observes and it knows the option: neighbor's house, my house. Where is your house? Peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. Neighbor's house, you need not to worry about it. So it is the mind with the wrong notion, delusion, misunderstanding, negative emotion cause the unnatural state in our life. If your intellect is centered in that understanding and the fact that nothing outside causes unnatural state. But when the mind perceives outer conditions, people, places, time with the likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment causes the unnatural state. Are you understanding? First is nothing outside causes unnatural state of the mind. But then what causes? When mind first it perceives the outer conditions, people, place, and the time, but with likes and dislikes, with attachment and detachment. That causes the unnatural state, and we are gone. So, what it means? Not living with the real self, not living with the real self. When we are not living with the real self, then this mind colors the world outside with the likes and dislikes, craving, demand, desire. My master used to say, we no longer remain human beings. As we fall into lower consciousness, all your pets, they have a low level of awareness. They cannot make a choice. You ask them to be with in front of you, put them without case, they will not. Third point, you understand? Lower consciousness, lower self awareness, higher self awareness, where the intellect is free. They lack wisdom. They are dictated by the mind or the nature, and they only know food and sex, sleep and insecurity. Don't you see that you can control your pet by offering them food? What we say? Treat. Mind is looking for treat outside and gets frustrated. So the conclusion is our mind is constantly dictated by the outer world of people, place, possessions, time. But why it is dictated? Because of likes and dislikes. Where the likes and dislike lives in my mind. So I fall into lower consciousness. I do not remain as a human being. So if we do not think in the intellect what we should do better in life, what is right and good, and how should we improve and grow. It is not that, I'm talking to you and you have understood. No, you sit down after listening and start thinking. Means what? You bring the intellect in front of the mind. Instead, the mind is always working in the front and the intellect is sleeping inside. So when the intellect is sleeping, the knowledge will not grow. What I said, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, lead me from ignorance to knowledge. We have to think with the right knowledge of the Eastern wisdom how to be good to myself first. Otherwise, lower consciousness, intellect is not free because of the mind, like other animals. I just told you a dog, how intelligent it may be, controlled by a bite of food, a treat, and by a stick that causes fear in him. Even after 10 years of training, treat is the solution, stick is the solution. Do we want that? It is done by the mind if we do not think, if we do not think along the lines of the principles of Eastern wisdom, because these masters have worked years and years and years. They lived in these principles, every master. And then they wrote. And majority of the masters, they have not written the name. They said these are the universal absolute principles of self-discovery to be in peace and happiness. So having an understanding of natural and unnatural state, so we go little deeper. Animals, low level of self awareness, and the intellect is not free. Human being, higher level of self awareness, intellect is free to observe, to make a choice and hold on to this choice. Do you want to hold on to the choice to the peace or anxiety? The moment you think like this, everything changes in a fraction of a second. The mind does not allow you to think in that way. So what happened? Why? Likes and dislikes. I just explained it. It is because of the lower self awareness in animals and the pets that you all have. Think of it. It is a good point. It is a beauty that you are keeping these pets. Start thinking, comparing, separating. One pet, second pet, I see one, two, three, four, five, maybe six, seven. You have seven cases, seven different pets. Because of the low awareness, and the intellect is imprisoned by the nature to work automatically. That is the reason the pet remains the pet. That is why the tiger remains tiger throughout his life. Cows continues to eat grass. Even better options are available. No choice. Fox continues to steal food of others. All animals are controlled by the nature, and their occupation in life moves around food, sex, insecurity, or to safety, you can say, and sleep. But if I don't think, I I have a choice. Animals do not think. Becoming a seeker, I have to think. How to change from the animal tendencies to the human ones. I have to think. I have a higher self awareness. I know how you think in line with the principles. Asato ma satgamaya, lead us from the false to the truth. Does any animal think in this way or can think? Answer is no. They cannot think in this. Teach tiger, move from the ignorance to wisdom. Or any pet that you have. They cannot. Can I? Yes. So I simply put that word into my mind, and my mind then forgets it, and I continue to move with the likes and dislikes, with the instinct, with the impulsive. No, I have to think. What do you mean by intellect? Intellect means knowledge. It means capacity and power to think. Why? To think, to know. What to know? What is right and good, and what is not. Why? So that I can separate what the mind likes or dislikes that causes the problem, leads me to attachment and detachment. So I can separate what is right and good, which is my home, what I like and dislike is neighbor's home. Throw it out from your head. You are free. Is that so simple? I would say yes for a seeker, no for a non seeker. That is the very biggest and the first step in the journey. We have been talking in a different way. do we understand the importance of intellect over the mind. Mind in front, that reshapes your personality with instinctive, impulsive, delusion, wrong notion. Intellect is in the front. So intellect follows the knowledge. What is right and good? Neighbor's house, my house. My house is peace and happiness. Finished. Remember, when the intellect is sleeping, mind is fully awake with its likes and dislikes, then only we have problems, sorrow, suffering in relationship to others in the world. Can you remind yourself in day to day life and return? Allow the intellect to work from the front. Can you understand the ways of the mind and the intellect? A person is known as a bad person by the mind, remains bad forever. What a crazy thought in the mind has about others. We also commit mistakes. People say you are bad. But second time when they say that you are still bad, we say I have changed. That is intellect. But our mind returns that person is bad, once bad, always bad. Why? Because of likes and dislikes. Causes the unnatural state. And I have already explained you. There is another way to understand fall and rise of self awareness and fall and rise of consciousness, you can say. When we are in love with anyone, what we say, I fell in love, I fall in consciousness. Falling in consciousness is attachment, likes, and dislikes. That is why we say, I fell in love. What Eastern wisdom is teaching, I should rise in love. Mind, attachment, intellect, right knowledge. I should have an affection towards you. I should love you. It is not physical. It is not guided by the attachment, likes, and dislikes. That love is the rise in love. So when you rise in love with everyone in the world, you are not attached. No duality, no confusion. The very existence loves us, so we love everyone. All the animals live at a lower level of self awareness or lower level of consciousness. That is why we need to control them if we want to make them a pet. And if someone makes me a pet, then what happens? You know it. So when our mind always moves around food, pleasure, safety, and the sleep and puts the intellect into background, intellect is sleeping, we are bound to suffer. Masters of the Eastern wisdom say merely having a human frame does not make me a human being. It is my intellect, when I use it, observe what is right and good, I make a right choice, and I hold on to this choice in my thought, speech, and action, I enter into a natural state. The knowledge in the Eastern wisdom declares that living into that natural state is the highest state. It is the highest state of meditation. It is independent of everything outside. It is self existent. It is self evident. It is self luminous. So I'm talking of that natural state which is independent of everything outside. I come and meet you. I'm talking to you. Does the intellect feel a sense of independence? Yes. Natural state. Mind makes me dependent. How? I like you, dependent. I dislike you, dependent. So that natural state is the highest state, irreversible, that reveals peace and happiness. Because likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment, pain and pleasure, that is experience in the mind makes my life conditioned. I feel limitation. It is that feeling, emotion, and knowledge and awareness of limitation and conditioning is causing the problem. What is natural state? In that natural state, we find the kindness, love, and wisdom, peace, flow. The same person comes which we dislike before. Now the intellect says, if you move with the kindness, humility. Why? It is the like and dislike that is causing the duality and a conflict. Why it happens? Because I am not the mind, but mind forces me to recognize whatever the mind says is I am. Are you getting it? Do you understand that? Let me repeat it again. Real self or I am is different from the mind. Two are separate. Mind is different, I am different. But because the mind is obsessed with the likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment, mind forces comes in the front and claims this is what I am. Means what? My real self is veiled, masked by the preferences of likes and dislikes of the mind. And then I'm bound to suffer. That is why we say the mind is the cause of the problem, mind is the cause of the solution. You see, personality, if you understand the word personality, persona, mask, mind creates a mask. It says, I am upset with you. I hate you. I like you. It is the mind saying, not you. Remove the mask. Remove the mask of the mind that lives with the impulsive nature and habits, you are free. No animals have the capacity to know, able to know, because they do not have the higher self awareness and they do not have an independent intellect to know, to make a choice, to be able to hold on to their choice. We have. So if we have and we are exercising that, then we are a real human being. That puts us into a natural state. So our masters lived, worked on this principle for years and years and years. Then only they wrote these principles. And I've already told you that they were so humble, they realized that this is the natural state of every human being. Why should I claim the authorship? We have thousands of the text, they are anonymous. They never wanted to be the bestseller. They said that real self is Satchidanand, existence, consciousness, bliss. Permanent peace, happiness, consciousness, love, wisdom. That is the highest state of meditation. That is why a person has to become a seeker to understand this, and then the seeker has to follow this knowledge with the practice to reach to that natural state, or until the natural state is attained. That is why we practice meditation. So, until we practice meditation regularly, we are a seeker. The natural state is attained, it is not changing. Highest state. Highest state, free from anxiety, habit, conditioning, duality, conflict, wrong notion, delusion, whatever you say. And that is why we have been saying it demands a seeker has a sincerity, has a commitment, has a dedication to reach to that natural state. I want to remove a couple of wrong notions in today's lesson. We are exposed to the world outside with the various practices. Millions of people are engaged. 1 minute of meditation, 5 minutes of instant meditation, God in the religion. So the mind, when it listens to these, they enter into a kind of confusion. Why the hell you are talking of 1 hour of meditation regularly, others are talking of 1 minute? So their mind swings between the wrong notion and the false notion, wrong notion and the right notion. So that fluctuating mind has to be treated by understanding again and again, by listening again and again, so that the knowledge is settled in the intellect. What will happen if we run after 1 minute of instant meditation? Okay. What will happen, you know? It leads to a kind of mysticism, magic, ritual, tricks to receive instant benefit. and that causes more problem. No doubt, there is 1% truth in them, but 90%, 99% is their trick and magic. These people will never find permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. So, whenever you are surrounded by problem, anxiety, duality, whenever you are, now you are a seeker. Seeker returns to where it returns? Returns to I love peace and happiness. Yes. I love peace. Peace is my nature. You think in this direction. Do I love peace? Yes. Peace is my nature. Where it is? Let us start finding. It is something. It is something like, where is my house? Here it is. Let me enter into it. Do you see that? We do not start thinking in this way. When you do not think in this way, mind continues to work on you. Mask. I have already explained. Mask. I have to remove the mask. If I don't remove the mask, problem will be there. And that mask is false. This is what every master is talking about. And that is what I'm educating you to. We are learning together. So it is something like, where is my home? So I know here it is. It is not neighbors. And what is neighbors? Neighbor's home, take it. Mind is in delusion, love, anxiety, fallen consciousness. Is it not possible now, daily? It is 100% possible. How it is possible? Listening, learning. The moment the mind says, I am frustrated, oh, frustration because of ignorance. Let me move from ignorance to wisdom. How? Here and now, by the intellect, listening to these principles and understanding. We'll take up, we'll continue this journey next week. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Do you remember? Asatoma Satgamaya. Moving from the false to the truth here and now. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Moving from ignorance to wisdom, natural state. Mrityorama Amritangamaya. Mortality to immortality. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.